Thank God. Hmm. That was some nice timing. So I'm so excited to be here, guys. I get so silly because I be so excited. I feel like it's been a minute. I feel like I've been needing to get out here for the last 2 weeks. Obviously, spirit, like there's gonna be a little bit of interruption. There's gonna be a little bit of energy going on because honestly, I was so excited. I'm like, oh wait, let me fix this real quick. I was like, oh wait, I'm about to get on this live. I'm about to do this stuff. I got my thing. I went for my walk. I did my dancing and I stretched some. I'm like, I'm ready. I got my lip gloss on, had my earrings on, got my headband on. I said, I'm cute. Let's do it. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do it. Right. And then I was like, oh, okay. I always forget about the thumbnail. I always got to do a thumbnail. But and like, granted, I could take a picture and that could be my thumbnail. But I've been trying to like, you know, practice, try new things. So it was really important for me to. I was like, okay, let me try this AI generator thing, part two. And I'm really excited that I did. That's obviously the thumbnail. If that's what got you here, grace, awesome. Um, if you just got here just to be getting here because God got you here, grace. Okay. So we're excited. Uh, yeah, and then as soon as I got on, the freaking, I don't know, some landscaping person is next door, I guess, and they weren't there this whole time. I didn't spend the whole morning pretty much like outside of like my walk and stuff. I've been in like the kitchen in the front, so it hasn't been like loud. Anyways, but now all of a sudden noise wants to be made. Why? I don't know. It goes with the message, obviously. A little bit of interruption, a little bit of distraction, but nothing's really going to keep you from doing what you need to do because it's God's call. Okay. I have something on my screen. I hope I don't mess up my thing. Oh, oh, oh. See? That's what I did. Okay. We here? We still? We live? Okay. I had something on my screen and I wanted to take that off. Again. Again. Minor interruptions. Minor interruptions. There's something really about that message. So we're gonna dissect that as we keep going. That's not really what I came here for. Now that we're here though, 4 minutes into the business, welcome. My name is Ashante Marie. This is Embodied Spirituality .net. You know, my little ESPN over here, and I'm excited. Like I don't know what else to say. I'm so excited. I'm excited about this message. I do want to make a couple of announcements. Like, I was supposed to do my OMG God Love Me video 2 weeks ago. Um, and I didn't realize until yesterday because I got off with the weeks. Like on the second week, I was like, oh, okay, I'm really excited to do the video, but I'm gonna do it next Sunday because it's gonna be every third Sunday. And then all of a sudden it was fourth Sunday, and I was like, wait, how did we get here? What happened? What day did I miss? So that's that's what I'm gonna need to do. I still owe you guys that video. Maybe I'll do a couple, and maybe I just need to do them more often. Like I don't know, I'm just trying to figure this out. I feel like God wants me to get on here and produce messages and tell you guys the things that I think about or know, and see um, through the lens of spirit, and try and like communicate that to you guys so that you guys can also start to see your life, and your experiences through the lens of spirit. So we here. Welcome to Embodied Spirituality. Okay, how am I going to jump into the rest of this message, spirit? We don't know. But I hope you like my singing bowl. I got that from Thailand, for like pennies on the dollar. um, and I love it. I wanted one small enough to carry back into my to carry back in my suitcase because I brought too much stuff to Thailand as it was. So it was like I don't have space to carry big things, but I can't wait to go back and pick up some more bowls from there. Really fun for me. Let's see. Today is Monday. Happy Monday, y'all. Happy Monday. There's a lot of things to take care of. Money Mondays, Money Mondays feel like Money Mondays, and Manifestation Mondays, and like need to take care of Business Mondays and Moon Day Mondays. It's all the things, all the things. Okay, I really just give me a second. I'm gonna simmer down, and I'm gonna be able to jump into this message the way that I really want to. Um, as you can see from the title, do I have any disclaimers today? That's why I always need to go. I introduce myself and disclaimers. Disclaimers. I do cuss. I'm going to try and keep it minimal today. But sometimes spirit just be like, you know, didn't spirit create sound and words? Like, why are we out here tripping this hard? But I think there's one thing to say when you're with the intention of what you're saying it. If you're just using, I like to use cuss words for emphasis. Okay, just so you can feel the emphasis. I'm not really trying to like call nobody crazy names or whatever, unless spirit says so. Wait. This is not funny, but it's so funny. Okay. There is this video going around, this viral video going around this week. And I don't know if it was super viral, but I saw it, okay? And it was about this girl, this mom, right? She's like a young mom though. A young mom who I guess was in her house, and somebody broke into her house, and she was like an assassin. Assassin. Yes. We're gonna have to think about that some more. Okay. She was like an assassin, and she like turned off the lights right away. She had her gun. Um, and maybe this is the other disclaimer. The disclaimer is we're just gonna talk freely, bruh. Like I'm not like everybody chill. Okay. So continuing on, she was like she knocked off the lights, and she was like she opened the door, and she was like, I told y'all not to come up in my house. Like my baby's up in the house, right? And it was like two or three people who broke into her house, like two girls and a guy. And the girl shot her back like something like, we don't care. That's the problem. The girl, the lady, the mama, okay? The mama went pop, pop. Shot a little pistol. I don't know where she hit her at. Maybe she hit her leg. The girls are like all right enough to be able to still be talking, right? And so they're like, call the police. And so the whole crazy thing is that the girl, it really shouldn't be that funny, but it's a protective thing. Um, the girl was like, she was like, call the police. I'm shot talking to the guy because the guy is like, what? And the guy was like, or she was like, call the police, I'm shot. And the mama was like, ha ha, ha ha. But she was like so unhinged when she did it. The laugh was so unhinged. Okay. So unhinged. So the video was like, if you're a mom or understand mom energy, that protective energy, you're just like, hey, her babies was in there. She gave them a warning. They decided to keep going. And she didn't get charged because, of course, they broke into her house. She has the right. So, um, the laugh was just hilarious to me because she was just like, you want to fuck with me? All right, I got one for you. I got one for you. You want a little bit more? Get the fuck up. Like, we're out. What is it? So, we're really feeling those vibes. Obviously, there's a protective energy that's around this space that we're trying to, excommunicate those that don't belong here. There is a message. So, getting into the title of this video, 12 minutes in, Jesus, before you can say here now and snap, before you can say here now, bruh, and manifestation. Like, so here's how we came to this, right? Talking about this protective energy and being like, you have boundaries. This is my space. This is your space. And if you try and come into my space when I told you where my space was, look. Unhinged laugh. Unlock unhinged laugh. Okay? So, yeah. Okay. So I got to this title because there was an instance a couple days ago where like I went to go meet somebody for the first time, just like, kind of say hi or whatever, right? And we're gonna keep most of my business to myself. Okay. But anyways, went to go meet up with this person for a second, and when I came back, it was like only 20 minutes, right? Maybe something like that. 20 minutes. I came back, and then all of a sudden there was all these ants on the floor in my bathroom, and I was like, WTF? And then in my mind, I had to think back, like, were these here earlier? And I wasn't looking at the floor like that? Or did these just get here? Like, but I was only here so many minutes ago, and like maybe I was outside for like 20 minutes, max 35 minutes, bro. Max 35 minutes. So, from being the last time that I had been in the bathroom. So I was like trying to think back. When did these ants get here? Did I just ignore them? Because it felt like they were going one place, but then they were like starting to go everywhere. And I was like, yo, 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 yo. So I took care of the ants, but like, of course, my brain is just like wondering, right? And then, of course, I found a culprit of what it was, and it was like a piece. You guys, this is like, yeah, okay. Look, it was just like a little something that had like fallen from something. So something fell on the ground. I picked it up. I thought I wiped up everything, right? I didn't see anything else, right? But the lighting was probably a little mixed because sometimes I have like other lights that I use sometimes. And So I see it, and it's like the tiniest girl, like the tiniest thing, short of shit, the tiniest little bit. Mm. And awesome. My mom just made it. My mom just made it back on safely. Awesome. Yay. Awesome. Um, so I'm like, oh wow. And then I realized that it had only been 30 minutes or so. And I'm like, okay, like what's that? And I was like, ants always bring up this energy of like where there's one for me, every time I see an ant, I'm like, where there's one, there's many, right? All these confirmation works now coming up. Also, it gives me this energy of community, right? They're always like in community, working together, working together, working together, working, and they leave trails for each other, like messages for each other. That's how they're as effective as they are, as quickly as they are, right? Interesting. Okay. There's so many messages that are coming up for me though. Um, and some of them I have to make sure that they're either for me or for you guys. So just they'll come up when they'll come up. Look, everybody's messaging. 2:30 up at 4:30. It sounds good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, um, yeah, making sure if they're for you or for me, right? Um, efficiency, knowledge. Okay. Yeah, so that's where we're at. Efficiency and knowledge. So I was just thinking about like ants. Ants. And I was like, okay, that's something. And I don't know, I think it was that night. And I was like, oh, the word antsy. And I was like, maybe that's something. Oh, also aunts and aunts. And that makes me think of family, of more into that like community thought process, right? Family, community, aunts and uncles, right? Um, aunties. And then I was like, antsy. And I was like, okay, antsy. And so I just wrote the word down. I didn't really like go into it. I didn't like dwell in it too much. I just kind of like wrote it down as like, okay, maybe I'll come to this. Maybe this is something I'm gonna make a video about. And we'll see what comes up. So mind you, like I said, this was a couple of days ago. Almost like a full week ago, actually. And so then the next day, I had ants again somewhere else. And usually, like, I have this spray that keeps the ants away, and it's pretty much everywhere. I feel like every blue moon, it's just like seasonal. And it wasn't a lot, like, it wasn't crazy. It was easy to clean up. But I had another little trail coming, from the back of a cabinet somewhere. Like, they're coming from the depths of where? From where? And so I had to clean that up, and that was kind of a 2-day thing, because I had cleaned it up, but then they were starting to come back, or like just finding another way around that, even though I kind of like whatever. Anyway, so I was just like ants, and I was like, is it this energy? Is it like, what am I supposed to be understanding too with the messages of these ants? Like, of course, it's the season. Oh, it's summer. They're trying to find some food and blah, 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 right? And I'm like, yeah, great. But also, there's always messages in places that is in front of our faces. We just aren't paying enough attention. So this is me paying attention. and or trying to at least, right? And so thinking about family, thinking about aunts and uncles, thinking about like, then that brought me into, right? If we stick with the whole community thing, it brought me into like wishing things into your life. And it can be a new job, it can be a new person, it can be a new company, like a new business, it can be a new project, it can be like a new Instagram or a new YouTube or something. And but whatever, usually very seldomly do we introduce new things into our lives and it doesn't come with a level of new community. You know, when you get a new job, you start to make a new community there. Somebody I was just watching the other day was talking about how, like, of course, when you work so much, your friends or your coworkers become your friends, you know, which is so true. And so even with that, like if you start a new job, now you're welcoming in a new community of people, a new way of being, a new way of living. And that's really interesting. And like just trying to follow my train of thought, what it makes me think about is, you know, when I did start working at your Buena, or not just working at the rink, but working as a coach, right? Being in the city, being in this like high metropolitan, whatever, Silicon Valley esque area, right? Are once I started to coach, and like before that, I was making friends like with all like my cashier friends, people who were like managers and all that stuff, friends, right? And other skaters and stuff too. But also, there was another level of friendship that happened when I became a coach and making friends with another echelon of people in the rink, I guess. So we would go out and go to like our happy hour or whatever, which is funny because the girl who I was talking about, the coworker stuff, she was talking about working the happy hour and stuff. But going to happy hour and you know like learning more about these people and then like moving in a certain way. Like I feel like going to these happy hours, hanging out with certain people made me move differently. My mom would always talk about, you know, going to her job and being more exposed to these like fancier like restaurants or ways of eating or being and blah blah blah, or like what's more casual for what people may have versus like when you come from a different world, not knowing what people have access to comparatively. Um, and so she kind of just like learned a lot. And I feel like even there, like, you know, I don't care what how other people think about like tipping and all that stuff, but like and tip culture. But personally, I'm in the space of like I like tipping people. Um, for like when I'm riding in my most abundant state, I'm tipping people. You know what I mean? So I generally like to operate from that space and do what's reasonable within what I have at this point in my life, right? And the next point in my life, and the next point in my life. And but I got more comfortable in that space of tipping people when I worked at that job, like when I was going out with those coworkers, because also too, when you work in the Silicon Valley area, you know, like everything's more expensive. So you're like, what? And then it also like brings up your game. That's a whole nother level of like when you're around different community too, especially good community, like positive community. And not to say that just money is positive community. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying like if it's a good community that feeds and fuels you, it's also teaching you different ways of living and being. And so with that, like going to these places and like paying more money for these things and also tipping, right? I would be like, and then also being like cautious of like, I'm not about to buy everything in the world. Let me get what I like. Okay. Okay. Um, but it also made me manifest money in a different way where it's like, oh, I like this. I like to have this. So this is what I want to be able to have access to. And then even as I navigated like different transitions of I was working in this capacity, I stopped working in this capacity to go to school and do whatever, and then come back and now I'm working in a different capacity. So monies and all of that stuff just different, right? In these different seasons. And what was I going to say with this? Oh, and also, and knowing that even in all of these seasons, no matter where I was sitting at, um, I always wanted to be in a place where I can go out and have a drink. Like I always want to be able to go. I like happy hour. Like I like the whole social. I like to go out. Let's go have a drink. I want some dessert. That's usually what I want. Like I don't need, and maybe a salad. Like give me a salad, dessert, and a drink, and I'm probably a super happy camper. And maybe some fries. We, Jesus said, or like, and it doesn't have to be a salad. Maybe just some vegetables and some French fries and a drink and some dessert. That is peace. That is peace to me. Okay, that is peace. I don't know about nobody else, but that's peace. So, anyways, um, so yeah, it just makes me think about how different communities can upgrade you and upgrade your way of being and upgrade your way of thinking and upgrade your manifestation levels. You know, and like, and also too, I feel like there's a thing that you can learn from when it's like, okay, well, these people keep telling me there are seasons in this stuff, there's up and downs, like kind of getting the culture and how like to roll and how to navigate your own life in the way that this community brings in money, I guess. I don't know. But like it helps you navigate how you want to do better and how you want to set up yourself in a way that it doesn't feel like struggle bus central in certain periods because one of the people who was super influential in my like coaching and in me even becoming a skating school director and a lot of stuff in my life, she was always like, coaching is like a feast or famine. Dang, that kind of reminds me of the ant stuff too, but it's kind of this feast or famine energy. And I was like, yikes. Like I hear what you're saying and I respect that. And I honor the fact that this because you've been in this sport, you've been doing this job for freaking 20 years. So yeah, who am I? 1, 2, 3, 4 on the clock, or my clock it was. Um and the stepping stones, right? Um and so I was like, great, good to know. And not to say that it hasn't kind of been that. I don't think I'm trying to sit in the feast less famine. You know what I mean? Like I don't like if can I ration better? Because that's my question. Can I ration better? Can I get better at like budgeting and all that stuff? Right? And doing what I need to do and bringing money in certain places and like marketing myself in the right spaces. You know what I mean? And also respecting low seasons, right? Instead of feeling like it's a famine season, right? Because technically right now it's a little tighter than I want it to be. But I do circulate money and money is coming and flowing. So I'm good. Like I'm good. And that's the energy you have to like take with you. It may be like a little tight or whatever, but I'm like, I'm sure I work, I show up, and if I show up, things will be handled. Okay. Um, Also, I think I talked about it in my last video. Shout out to the movie Straw. And like, I don't know. I don't want to really sit in that energy of this video, but definitely I'm just like I want to try and do better, especially for my position. I could have been handed a different card and it could have been a different situation to where I don't feel this way, and I didn't always feel this way, and my ancestors didn't always feel this way. Let's be clear, me sitting here where I am now is generational healing. You're welcome. You're fucking welcome. Okay, you want that. Okay. So, anyways, as this money comes falling from the sky for me always and always, and God is always taking care of me always and always and always. I want you to know that your manifestations are quicker than a snicker. before you could say here now and snap, you know? Um, woo. So that is really the vibe of this message. Abundance, inviting community in, an instant, right? The my brain wants to jump everywhere because I have so many like little bits of notes. I didn't take like long notes because I was just like, look, I just want to speak. I just want to say the things that I need to say and let it come out and let it be. But the next thing that I kind of wanted to like focus in on is this idea of instance, right? 333, 3033, sorry. And of instant, right? So I'm sure if it's like, I've been wishing for this thing for so long and it hasn't come in. I've been wishing for this job, this man, this woman, this person, this, I don't know, pet, this like new plant to grow. Like, I've been waiting for this to grow for so long. I've been waiting for it for so long. And you get impatient, right? Because we want everything instant. And especially nowadays, right? And like especially nowadays because we have these things and it's everything is 3 clicks away. That was supposed to be a part of the message or like in the title too. 3 clicks, 3 clicks away, right? I think in one of the last videos I was kind of talking about how getting connected to the school that I went um, to get my master's, it was like one of those you know, instant moments. I, but it wasn't instant, like that's the thing. It was 3 clicks, In my brain, the story goes, it was 3 clicks away. 1, 2, 3, 3 clicks, 3 clicks, and my whole life changed. And my whole entire life changed. Can we talk about it? In 3 clicks. Because that's what we're used to now. We're used to like a click, confirmation, and we're here sold. We want to buy something on Amazon, we click the item, we click the cart, we click the payment, and boom, it's here the next day, it's here the same day. We're so used to that, like 3 clicks and it's here. 33, 32. Okay, money shots, money. um and so it just got me into this thought about like 3 clicks, right? And then it reminded me of me doing the video before. And if you haven't watched the video, the quick, short, long story of it is I had been looking for, like, while I was working the job and getting tired or whatever, knowing that a transition needed to come, right? Looking for a school, didn't come across a school that I liked, whatever, a program that I liked, or if I did, if it was like kind of sort of there, it wasn't, I had to do something else. Like there was some other steps that I needed to take before I got there, right? Um, and so I was just like, all right, bet. Like I'm just gonna put 1 foot forward, marching. The ants go marching. You feel it? The ants go marching one by one. Hurrah, hurrah. If I put 1 foot in front of the other, like I'm just gonna study, I'm gonna do these practice tests, I'm gonna get there. I'm gonna do study, I'm gonna practice tests, I'm gonna get there. And then all of a sudden, one day, spirit went boop, think about this. And I went, great. And I'm clicking, click, click, click. All of a sudden, school at the bottom. What? What is this program? What? It's a master's? I've been looking for a master's. This sounds like something that I've been like books that I've been picking up already. Like, what? Is this for me? Because this feels like for me, God. Excuse me. Excuse me. Is this for me? Because it feels like it's for me. Thank you. And sure enough, 3 clicks, whole life changed. Whole life changed. And granted, it feels like an instant. It feels like an instant. It feels like an instant. Because honestly, it went from like, I think I saw 3 clicks, 3 months. Okay, something about the number 3 is really present here. But 3 clicks, 3 months. I think it was really maybe like 4 months. But saw the school, didn't apply it. Matter of fact, yeah, let's call it still 3 months. Saw the school, waited 1 month, did a pause period, 1 month. I was like, all right, because I was going to an event at or like hosted by that school with my mom, right? I think the event was in November. So we went there together. I was like, I'm gonna go see, and we had like these like extra VIP tickets. So we got like a cocktail hour first, and then we drove over to the other event. I believe that's how it worked out. So we did that, and I was like, when I went to the school, I was like, oh, this is it. Three. There's something about three. Three, three, three. Okay. So saw the school and I was like, this is mine. This is feeling this is feeling all the way right. This is feeling all the way right. And my mom felt it too. My mom was like, oh yeah, this is your school. This is your school for sure. And I was like, how exciting. I think I applied within the next week. I got a call within the next couple of weeks. I had my interview probably a month from there. And like I said, this was November when we went to this event. Maybe it was like late October. Late October. By my birthday in mid-January, I went to my first class. On my actual birthday. On my actual birthday was my first class for my master's program. 3 clicks, 3 months, 3 clicks, 3 months. Okay. And just to like back up this instant, but in seconds, like instant, but in seconds, right? Let's break it down. Jesus, let's break it down. Instant in seconds. Like it's crazy because we think instant, right? Then when I was looking up the word instant the other day, they were talking about at once, right? The thing was at once. But we're always talking about you're gonna click it and it comes in seconds. And like seconds is like more than one. So it's not once, it's more than one. So you may have to take some steps. You may have to wait a moment. It may be 3 clicks and we're here. Like your manifestation is coming in quicker than you think. Your manifestation is coming in quicker than you think. Your manifestation is coming in quicker than you think. And if you need to remind yourself, you should say it yourself. My manifestation is coming in quicker than I think. My manifestation is coming in quicker than I think. Are you ready? Am I ready? My manifestation is coming in quicker than I think. Am I ready? I'm ready. I'm ready. My manifestation is coming in quicker than I think. Am I ready? I'm ready. Girl, my legs is itching. Girl, feeling it. Root chakra. Okay? Anywho. So, thinking about all of that, I'm like, wow. It's just really fascinating how we can want something for so long and we can feel like we've been waiting for so long or looking or searching for it for so long. And then when it comes in, it's here now. Here now. God is doing that. God is doing that. God is doing that. Okay. If you don't believe me, okay. The second example that I have, a quick one, which I feel like is so pertinent for today because today was the first, earlier this morning, the owner of the like triplex, I guess I live in, um, came to visit, and they live out of state now. So this was the first time me meeting them. We've only messaged each other, never seen like outside of the little icon on Google or Gmail, whatever. Like I've never really seen their face. You know, they never really seen mine. They probably have a bigger picture of my cat than they have on my face. Like that's crazy, but it's true. And and so today was like the first day of me meeting them, and this is my third year of being here. So I finished 2 years. This is the start of the third year. um so like I said, there's something about this number 3, right? um that keeps coming up. My legs probably itch because I was out in nature, and I had a couple of things rub up against my legs, so I need to take care of that later, but that's okay. It happens. Girls still go outside. You'll be all right. That's why they have Neosport. That's what Spirit just said. That's why they have Neosport. But I don't need that. I just need to like wipe off my leg. And or it's just really my root chakra, like my Earth Star chakra, like activating and feeling the energy. So I'll take it as a both. Both and. Both and. So instant and in seconds, right? So yeah, like I said, other example. So I met them today, right? First time, or the one of them today, and even getting this place, right? I had been wanting to move out for so many years. It felt like a lifetime. It felt like forever. it felt like for fucking ever. Okay, it felt like forever, guys. It felt like forever. Okay, and I felt like I get criticism here and criticism there. It felt like forever, right? But like I said, Spirit likes to do this thing where it's just like, go here, click this, go here, 3 clicks, and that's it. You know what I mean? And so, and I'm sure I've shared this before, and maybe it just is gonna keep coming up until, people start to realize their own manifestation powers and where 3 clicks may have showed up in their life. But 3 clicks. So I was like doing something else, trying to clean out something else, and organization and cleaning. Ooh, okay. Trying to clean up something else. Ooh, okay. Trying to clean up something else. Because I had too many browsers open. I was like, let me just close out some of these browsers. And then all of a sudden, one of the browsers was like Zillow. And I was like, oh, yeah, I do need to keep looking for an apartment. Let me just see what they have here. Refresh the feed, right? And quick scroll, first page, first page, first page. I saw this place. I pretty much knew instantly by the site. I saw it. I saw the color of the house, and I said, looks like me. Looks like me. Looked at the photos. I said, really looks like me. Just checking the boxes. Nice. This looks big. That looks big. And I said, how long has it been on the market? I think it had only been like a couple of days, like less than 7 days. Less than 7 days. Probably like 5 or something. Probably like 5. And I was like, do I make a move? Do I click? So I clicked. They were like, oh, call to make an appointment. So I called and said, hey, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, oh, great. You can come and see it. I think it was like the next day. Yeah, we're showing the place blah, blah, blah. The next day. And me and my mom had already visited a couple of places, right? That were like, this is going to work for somebody, but it's not me. Places. Okay. And so, and so, and my mom be like, this ain't for you. And I was like, you're right. I'm glad you know too. We don't deserve that. Okay. We need something better. And so I showed my mom the place, right? And I think it was like the next day or like 2 days later that we went to go visit. And my mom was like, okay. She saw the photo. She was like, oh, I like this for you. And I think I like sent the link to my sister. And she was like, I like this. And then, everything just started to fall in place. And it was like blessed instantly. Do you know what I mean? Ooh, protection. And there's something about everything being blessed instantly. Like no matter what distractions, no matter whatever is going on, this is like divine. There's literally nothing that can come in between you and this because God said, thank you. I'm so excited. Because God said. And so, yeah, I came to see the place. My sister surprised me by showing up too. We saw it all together as a trio, which we are very much like a unit plus Micah. Um, and we knew it from the outside. Parking the car, knew it. Saw my sister getting out, knew it. Walked in the gate, knew it. Walked in the place, knew it. It was mine. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. It was meant to be. Yes, you have to go through the application process. Yes, you have to go through all the financials, and I hated all of that. It's all this official business. And maybe that's a part of it too. Blessed by the divine, but you're still business to take care of at the end of the beginning and the end of the day. There's a light that's flashing over here. There is still business to take care of at the beginning and the end of the day. So had to take care of all of that, improving blah blah blah, and back and forth, blah blah blah. And like I said, like if y'all don't know from the previous videos too, I have married myself years ago. We in here. And it was also blessed too, because the day that I was signing the papers for this place was my anniversary. I said a 5-year anniversary. I thought I said so exciting. So exciting. So exciting. God said. God said. God said. Also my grandma's birthday. And my like little cousins. God said, it's a blessed day. Cheers. 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 Anywho. So this idea about instantaneous, but things taking a couple of seconds. And then like also to, sometimes, the 3 months or whatever. But if you like take 3 months out of 80 years, like that's only seconds of your life, and even if you take the fact that like maybe you've been wanting something for, 20 years or something like that, like your entire life, you wanted to be a billionaire. And you finally make it there, that was still only some seconds of your life, and like the journey is the game. Like everybody, like it's not the goal. Like people keep getting confused. Yes, you need to have a goal, but the fun part is the journey. The cool part is the journey. Because then when you do achieve the goal, that's where the story comes in at. Bro, that's really like been a common thing that's been coming up in my videos at least. So I want to sit with that more with myself. Um, but also too, start documenting things. Let me just put that out there for you, me, and thee. Okay. Start documenting things. Start documenting the process of things. Like, say that you are starting a new business or whatever. Like, do a video blog about what is it like growing your business. Like, obviously that's content, right? And if you don't want to do things for content purposes, like, just have it for yourself, or maybe journal about it, or do like a progress report every week of like, oh, this week this is what we've done, this is what we've accomplished. um but I think that there it's a something to be said about writing down the story, writing down the journey, um, because those little lessons provide a lot of lessons. Those little lessons are actually really big lessons, um, and multi-layered lessons is what I would say. These little lessons are multi-layered lessons, so there's many embedded in one message. So document it, um, because it's here. Like it's here. You have it. And then even like achieving it, like I said, getting both and okay. Still for my masters, it was like I got it in seconds. I got I got to the school in seconds, right? Like that was my thing. I was like, I need to find the school. I found the school in seconds, right? But I still had to get the dang thing. I still had to do all the dang work, okay? Still had to read the stuff, write the papers, learn how to cite, deal with like belief systems, navigating belief systems about knowledge, education scholarship, like being a scholar, like being a healer, and living in a magical world in a mundane, like shared reality with some of these people. Not they don't see all the magic. Like, but people are getting there because honestly, I swear, like to me, I feel like even now, even in this, right now, this video says whatever it says. Nobody's really watching this video right now, but somebody is really watching this video. That's the funniest part. That's the funniest part. Y'all are watching this video. You're rocking with me. And that's so freaking cool, bro. Like, that's so cool, bro. That's so cool. But I've always felt like I've been like ahead of the game, right? Like, I've always felt like I've been like years ahead of the game in one way. Like, before people were like hella into chakras, I was like telling my mom, oh, chakras, energy centers, I'm really interested in this. This is why I want to go to this type of school. Chakras, what are chakras? Now everybody knows what a chakra is. Maybe not everybody, but it's very common. It's more common than it was, right? Then same thing with Reiki. Like, I got attuned to be a Reiki master, and I started to put Reiki in water and all the stuff that I was doing, and like talking about Reiki, sharing Reiki with my family. My mom never heard of Reiki. Now it's on TV. People are like, oh, we have this Reiki person coming. Oh, we have this. Now it's everywhere. Now it's everywhere. I've always been like ahead of the game in that way. And I have to, for me, sometimes I have to be patient, which is coming with this message. Thank you, God. Patient with the process, right? Because it doesn't look like I have a bajillion people in this live right now, doesn't mean that there's not going to be a bajillion people who've watched this video. Like, the whole entire universe will have seen this video one day. And that's so fucking cool. And maybe not the whole entire universe, but energetically, sort of, kind of. If you talk about, come on, God, let's go. If you talk about knowledge, and especially if you're talking about like how African spirituality, especially in like Yoruba and Orient stuff, when you're talking about the head and consciousness, and even when you're talking about chakras, thinking about your crown chakra, universal consciousness, right? As soon as you're touching one person, you're not just touching them, you're touching them, their ancestors that came before and after. That is a spectrum. Like touching one person, and then think about it, their kids. Maybe they teach. Maybe they have followers. Just like I came up on here and I was just like, oh, this girl talked about this thing, and it led me into my story, right? She touched me enough for me to mention her in this that helped me develop the message that I need to develop further. Are y'all catching this? It was 5:41, so it was 5:55. Okay. Change, transitions, newness, right? Going from one place to another. Anywho, but it definitely makes me think about, the universal consciousness and getting the message out there. And so even if you are ahead of the game, even if you, or shit, even if you feel like you're behind the curve, you know, like, because I feel like there's a piece of me that feels like ahead of the game because I'm going to be talking about things in a certain way, but I feel behind the curve in terms of like, I don't be working all of this like technology stuff like as well as I could if I really wanted to, if that's all the time that I had in the world, but I have other shit to my like name. So I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna do this, and it's gonna develop and get cooler and fancier as we go. But we just rocking. We just rocking. So that was oh, and then pulling it back, right? So like I said, getting the degree or getting into the program didn't mean I had the degree, didn't mean I earned the degree, right? Had to go through so much stuff, so many rites of passages, so many initiations, so many changes. Literally being a different person, like operating in a completely different world. The world that I was in, that bubble of my school versus like what was going on in the outside world was wild. But it's not like we weren't connected because we always was talking about like political stuff or like being activists in some way, or like how activism shows up in our life or how we want to show up as activists in our lives. And so it makes you like kind of keep your head to the ground in that sense. But it was also like people aren't talking about things like everybody else is talking about things. Like the world is still getting there. The world is still developing. So like putting in the work and putting in the work in terms of sacrificing too, right? There is a sacrifice that needs to happen. So even in these ants, okay, as much as I love nature and I respect all God's creatures, I have boundaries for my space. You're not about to be walking all over my floor. Y'all can stay outside. Y'all can stay outside. But if you guys come up in here, if y'all come up in here, I'm gonna have to handle y'all, and y'all gonna have to be the sacrifice today. And so that was a thing. In school, it was the showing up. It was all of the other stuff I just mentioned. And same thing with being in this apartment. Yes, I got the apartment. So excited, moved out, finally. Oh my God, waited my whole life. And rent every month. Cool. Got it. We're gonna work. Got it. Got it. Dinner every day. Breakfast. Am I eating breakfast? Cleaning? Good. Did you say cleaning? Every day? Oh. What? And like, it's one thing if you're sharing your space with another person, right? That's also like able-bodied or whatever, or, mostly able-bodied, that can like help you. Because like I was always used to having at least one other person in the house. Say that they cook, I do the dishes. Say that I do the dishes, they do like I don't know, they water the yard, like whatever. It was like a tit for tat. Say I clean some of this, they clean some of that, right? But going ahead and being like, oh, I want to live by myself and do things, and I'm like, oh, I got to do everything, unload everything, take out everything all the time. That was such a transition. That was such a transition. You know what I mean? Um, and so, you know, and it still be sometimes. It still be like, again, again. But it's like, this is what I wanted. Like, this is what I prayed for. This is what I wanted. And I'm like grateful. So it's like, I'm not complaining about it. It's just funny. It's just funny the work and the sacrifices that we have to put into the things that we want, that we actually care about, the things that we want to achieve or be or, have in life, you know? So that goes to anything. You want to write this book, you got to show up, you got to write. You want to be flexible, you got to stretch, and I'm saying all this for me. Hopefully it's helping you. Okay. Which brings me into the other thing of today. So to kind of help move this energy, right? Because there's the concept that we're getting into is instant in seconds, but having patience, like making your wish, and the time that comes in between. What are you doing? What are you doing? Are you doing work? Are you just sitting there twiddling your thumbs? Like, what's happening? But to me, I also feel like the thing that brings it in quicker, is taking care of the business that you need to take care of. Like, the thing that makes all of this stuff take longer, is when we sitting out here waiting for it. And that's crazy. That's crazy, and it's so true. But like, when I found my school in those 3 clicks, I literally had like, I think I cleaned my desk that day, the night before or whatever. And so I was coming in and I was early, and I was like, well, my desk is clean, so that's nice. I think maybe I had to put something away, but maybe not. And I was like, well, since my desk is clean and everything's like all fresh and new, let me change my screensaver. Like, that was the thing. I've cleaned this space. Message. You hear that buzz? I've cleaned this space, and now I want to bring in new energy into this space. So let me change my screensaver. Screensaver led me to my whole life changed. My whole life changed. Are y'all hearing me? Same thing with this. This thing is, lock is making me, I think it's a sweater. But the same thing happened with getting this place. Like, I was literally like, oh, let me declutter all of these tabs I got, because I'll be having 1,000 tabs. Okay. Let me declutter some of these tabs. And granted, got a little sidetracked. I decluttered some. I got rid of like, I don't know, maybe 20. We're guessing. But, and maybe I did more after I found the place, because I found the place, did stuff, and I was like, okay, well, let me continue to clean out some stuff. And I was like, so I was starting to think about that. Then I needed to count my money, all that stuff. All the wheels started to run. But when I was cleansing, cleaning, purging, letting go, 3 clicks, it was here. Excuse me. 3 clicks and it was here. Confirmation burp. 1:11 on the time. So we're almost done with this. Yeah. We're excited. I want you to have hope. I want you to have faith. And I want you to keep busy. And not just busy to be busy. Don't be busy distracting yourself doing fuck shit. Right? Because that's not the same. Right? I can be on my phone and creating and doing games on my phone or whatever. But that's not bringing my manifestation to me quicker. It may give me release in the times that I've been overstressed and overstimulated, and I need like a little calm down. But in terms of it bringing my manifestation to me, no, quicker, not really, not really, unless it's actually giving me rest that I need. So do the things, do the things. And I think the thing that's funny about like this whole new world that I'm coming into right now is that it really did start by like, or a piece of it, not everything. Felt like it started after that glass came out of my foot. And that feels big and super cool. And just for like a healthy mention, because I wrote it down on a piece of paper, so I feel like I gotta like get it out of my system. Enough. Just think about instant noodles. Okay, I love me a good ramen, and most people love them a good old cup of noodle. Okay, even in this processed way, sometimes every blue moon, a couple of noodles will get you all the way right. Okay, but they're about instant noodles. But you know you gotta wait like at least 3 minutes. You put some hot boiling water in it. First of all, you gotta boil the water. Maybe you have access to some just like boiling water instantly. So good for you. But if you don't, you gotta boil the water. So first you gotta boil the water. Not instant, right? Then once you put the boiling water in there, you still gotta wait 3 to 4 minutes before the noodles is tender enough and the vegetables are puffed up, you know, and the seasonings are mixed in, dissolved into it. So they're instant noodles, but they got to you in some seconds, which was like a moment to moment thing. You didn't have to just wait the 1 minute. You waited the 2, the 3, and the 4. And then you mixed it together. And then you probably still had to wait till it cooled off a little bit, depending on how hot the water was, so you don't burn your mouth. But maybe that's something to say about your manifestation. Like there's just gonna be levels. You see it coming in. Not only just like you see it coming in, you know that this is yours. How about that? You know that this is your manifestation. You know that this is yours. And there's nothing that can come between you and it that God won't handle. So you have to continue to take one step at a time, to do the work, to do the research, to do the healing work, to get your finances in order or get your ducks in a row. Uh, the ants go marching one by one, hurrah. Two by two, hurrah. Five by five, hurrah. You know what I mean? Like, and maybe that's your to-do list. Like, it doesn't the song Countdown? And they all go marching down to the ground together and boom, 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 boom. I don't know. I think you can play that song either way. You can count up or count down if you really wanted to. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. You can count it either way. So, like, maybe you need to sing the song. Maybe you need to take one step at a time. Maybe it's about putting one foot in front of the other. But you're gonna get it. You already got it. How about that? You already got it. Congratulations. Congratulations, girl. Girl, let me come to the party. As soon as you ready, as soon, look, as soon as you ready to celebrate this big old, this big old accomplishment of yours, as soon as you're ready to celebrate this big old accomplishment of yours, call your girl. Call your girl. Call your girl. I want to come. I want to celebrate. I want to be on Zoom. I want to be online. Like, let me come so we can celebrate together. Because how exciting is that? That your manifestation is here. Before you can say here now and snap, girl. Because when it comes in, you're going to be like, oh shit. Oh shit. Is that it? That's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. Sometimes it feels like you've been waiting for so long. You're just like, oh, I'm waiting. Oh, will it ever? Oh, I'm waiting. Oh, will it ever? Oh, will it ever come in? And all of a sudden it's like, whoa, what universe did I just walk into? That's what it feels like. What universe is this? The rainbows and butterflies and fairy tales and happy things and cotton candy and magic school buses. Oh my god. So I think that's everything that I have on here. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see what this is. One last thing. And then also too, if you're feeling a little stuck in your energy, maybe you don't know what else to do. Maybe you feel like, oh, two things. Cleanse your space. If you saw any of like the little smoke that was happening in the very beginning of the video, that was me saging. Cleanse your space, right? We were talking about organization and we were talking about cleansing, but also smudge, because I feel like there's some big 119 on the clock, big 111 on this clock. Let's go. Um let's go. But cleanse your space and also smudge the space. Like you literally, that energy of whatever you just cleaned, whatever that was like messy that you needed to organize, that you just handled and you're like so proud of yourself, you need to let that energy move out of the physical space that you're in. So I encourage you to burn incense. I encourage you to burn sage, to burn frankincense, copal. Like you need to cleanse the space. I felt like I had to sage so many times in the last 24 hours because I was cleansing something and cleaning out something that I feel like has been bogging me down for a while. You know, I've been like, oh, I need to get to this space and I'll come to it and I'll work on it. And I like 3 hours go by and it's still like, you know. And yesterday I finally got it to a place of like better than I've ever seen it. So I'm over here like, oh my God, look at this face. Look at this face. And I just feel like I had to cleanse and over and over and over. And I just kept saging and saging and saging because I also don't want the energy to, what I've been feeling like lately is that I have to make sure that the energy is not being released from one space and getting clogged somewhere else where it's like, okay, yes, I cleaned it out in front of my desk, right, in my room. But is it going and traveling? Is that negative, stagnant, stuck, stifled, miscellaneous, mixed together ass energy? Is it just moving somewhere else in my house? Is it going in a closet? Is it going in the fucking bathroom? Is it going in a, like, no, we don't have time for none of that. We don't have time for none of that. So cleanse your space, right? As you cleanse the energy. Cleanse the energy. Cleanse the energy. And I am really welcoming newness and love and new beginnings and organization and the cleanliness into my life. Into my life. And to do that, I have to make sure that I am moving that negative space out, all the way out. You got to get GTFO. Okay. And like I said, this is what gets me to the second part of what I wanted to say before I sign off today, is that you need to move the energy, not just physically, not just in spiritually, but physically too. So you've done the physical, you did the spiritual, and now there's another layer of physical that I want to give you guys. You need to go for a walk. You need to twerk in your place. You need to actually dance. Okay. So as I was smudging last night and this morning, I was twerking. Okay, okay. Twerking, twerking, laughing, dancing, twerking. You know what I mean? Because that's the energy I'm trying to bring up into here. I'm trying to have fun. I'm trying to dance. I'm trying to live. I'm trying to move. I'm trying to be lively. So I'm not just going to be like stagnant. Nope. 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 As that negative energy is moving, I'm about to twerk, 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 twerk. I don't know, but that's what we're doing. So I encourage you to twerk. I encourage you to stretch. But if you didn't catch it in the description, it says walk, twerk, stretch. Do all of the above. This is E, all of the above. Walk, twerk, stretch. Walk, twerk, stretch. Go for a walk. I already talked to y'all about that in my last video. I'm probably going to keep talking to y'all about that in multiple videos as we keep going forward. But go for a walk. And this morning I was like, yeah. I woke up this morning, 1, 2, 3, 1 o'clock. Woke up this morning and I was like, okay. Took care of that. I had the lady come by. And then I was like, let me go for my walk. Let me just walk. And I'm like, I'm just going to go up and down the block. And then by the time I went up the block, I was like, well, let me go around the corner. And I was like, well, let me go one more block over. And then I came back down. And then by the time I was like kind of coming back towards my house, I was like, well, let me just do this little extra whoop-de. And because I needed to get, like, I just felt like there was still a little bit more energy that needed to, like, get out. And, once you start to feel the release, it becomes magnetic, addictive. It becomes not even just like intoxicating. There's another word that I want to use, but I can't think of it. But it becomes, yeah, like something that you have to do. So came back in for a second and I still needed to go and grab something. So I went for another little extra 5-7 minute walk, got back. And then I had to move my car, went for another little walk. So I was like, oh, I get my little walks in or whatever. And of course, when I came back in, I wanted to sage a little bit more because I just felt like I'm letting go of this energy. Even in the walk, I'm letting go of this energy. So I'm trying to make sure that I keep the positive energy flowing in here, divine positive energy flowing. So came in, played some music, danced, twerked, whatever. Do the same. I encourage you. But I also was like, before I jump on this video, I need to spend a few minutes stretching. So a part of my stretching was twerking because hip openers, right? And that's what I wanted to get to, hip openers. Not only just in twerking, but in stretching, both and walking. All three of those are hip opening focused, okay? Even though it doesn't feel like your hips are opening when you're walking, a lot of times it's waking them up, okay? Okay. Twerking definitely is activating them. And stretching, especially if you're focusing on your lower body, you are opening those hips. And with the reason why I wanted to bring attention to that is because thinking about ants, thinking about community, it reminds me of the root chakra. It reminds me of needing to engage into the root chakra, needing to understand like family, community, consistency, constancy. And showing up. There's something else. Let me just pop over to these words real quick. Because as I was looking up antsy, the word or the definition was agitated, impatient, or restless, right? And we can get agitated, impatient, and restless when we're waiting for our manifestations to come in. Like we can get agitated, impatient, or restless when we are waiting for our manifestations to come in. But then ant symbolism, I'm just reading this off of AI stuff, okay, or whatever, Google. Often represent hard work, diligence, cooperation. Hard work, diligence, and cooperation. Doesn't that mean not just keep busy, but like, due to their social structure and tireless work ethic. So still taking care of the things that you need to take care of in the meantime. You want that business? Do you have your business plan? You want that book? Are you writing? Are you editing? You want to be a cleaner person? Did you tidy up today? You want a spouse? What do you want him for? How do you want to be the best partner? How can you show up as a better partner to yourself first? If that is not God, okay? Ugh. Ants. They can also symbolize unity, persistence, and even prosperity in some cultures. They can have like negative associations too, minor irritations, travel issue, minor irritations. You may come. Didn't we start talking about that? Didn't we start off with minor irritations? This live was trying not to happen for a couple minutes, and I was like, swerve. We're doing this live because we got way too much energy and got set. Noises, minor irritations. Okay, I need to get me some nails so I can be clacking like these other people. I'm so silly. I'm so silly. Trivial issues that don't matter. Like you're getting caught up. Speaking of trivial issues, one good mention. Shout out to Pharrell. Okay, shout out to Pharrell. I had just seen a video of him giving like dropping some little gems to somebody he was talking to, but he was pretty much just telling him, he was like, don't worry about this other stuff, like people's opinions and all this other stuff, or naysayers, or the no. Like, don't focus on the no. Just like figure out what you can do. Like, don't focus on all of that other stuff. Like, don't get emotional about all of this other stuff. He was like, yes, get emotional about somebody life or death situations. Somebody is born, somebody passes away. Like both of those things, yes, be emotional. But when it comes to like all this little stuff, or somebody tells you no, or blah blah blah, he was like, focus on what you need to do to get it done. Like, don't be emotional about it. Just keep going. And I feel like that's a real ass message. So shout out to Pharrell. If you've seen that video, look at it again. If you haven't seen the video, go and look it up. I'm sure you'll find it. Pharrell gives message. I don't know, drops gems. Like, I don't know what the video title is, but you're gonna find it. Okay. And maybe he has more to give than that. So shout out to Pharrell. So letting go of those trivial issues, things that don't really matter, right? Focusing on what matters and focusing on what you need to be focusing on. And then ants, the negative, one of the negative connotations can be negative feelings like depression, right? Um, so that's something to be mindful of. But in this instance, I feel like ants are really trying to bring forth this energy of hard work and industrialness and not being impatient. I think it's both and. It's like making sure that you're working hard and making sure that you're not being antsy and impatient. Um, yeah, I feel like that's the message. I feel like that is something that we need to talk about. Keep focusing on working on opening those hips. Um, it will keep you grounded. It will get you grounded in a higher source of community, and also being open and welcoming to whatever is supposed to come in. Because, like I said in the beginning, as you manifest whatever you want, as you bring in whatever you want, it also comes with a level of community. It also comes with a level of responsibility, like, becoming the skating school director I am now responsible for so many people and their experiences. I have parents to answer to. I have bosses to answer to. I have budgets to maintain. Like, you can do it. It comes with community. It comes with a lot of work. It comes with remaining diligent. It comes with cooperation. Like, but you got it. You're gonna have gotta do the work. But it's okay. That's the fun part, right? That's the fun part. Or make it fun. Make it fun. My last little bit before I really, 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 really get off here, because we're at an hour and a half almost, God. Who said? Quick note: romanticize your life. Like, start making things a little bit better, prettier, lovelier, sweeter. Like, just invite sweetness into your life. That's what I want to say. Invite sweetness, invite love, invite, because that's abundance. That is abundance. You know, make sure you eat some natural foods and all that stuff, but really just like romanticize things in your life. Make things move a little slower, you know? Like, if you need to, take some honey and rub it on your lips and then lick it off. Lick it off. Like, maybe you just need a couple of minutes to tap into that. I don't know whose that was for. That was out of nowhere. But shout out to bees, because they wanted me to get their message out before I talked about the ants, but the ants came through and was like, look, talk about us first, please. Me first. So gotta talk about the bees soon. And the birds and the bees. But this is it for today. Community. Community. Be ready. It's coming in. Be ready. It's exciting. Congratulations. That's all. Have a good week. If you made it here, if you watched this video, which I'm sure you did, go ahead and like it. Go ahead and drop a comment. I want you to tell me when your party is, girl. When are we celebrating? What is this thing that you're bringing in? And if you're not a girl, you understand what I mean. Don't get your feelings hurt. That's how I speak. I love you guys all. I love you guys all. The energy is calm. Now I know. I'm done. Now I know. Spirit said, we're good. Thank you. Thank you, Divine, for being here. Thank you, Spirit, for being here. I hope you guys have a good rest of your week. I hope I'm back on here real soon, real quick, daily. We'll talk about some more stuff lately. Soon, soon, soon. Later. I see you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. Okay. Shout out to my grandma. Love you.